Morning everyone, this is Barceló Active Resort and this is also a Barceló Active Resort. I guess this is a tale of two hotels. Now when we booked our hotel we were expecting to be in this side of the resort, but in fact we ended up with a room in this side, and depending on your circumstances that's not actually a bad thing. Now the last time we stayed at this hotel, this part of the hotel was closed. It was undergoing a lot of refurbishment to the rooms, and as I said, we stayed across the other side of the road. However, we have stayed in this building before. It was previously known as the Barcelo Occidental Mar, and yeah, we had a fab holiday about 8 years ago with the family. Some of the changes have been quite significant. All of this area you see here, which is nicely planted, is new, and all of the shops around the outside and the restaurants that are here, they are also new compared to when we previously visited. So at the far corner we've got a small hyperdino. We've got a hyperdino there. This is Nautilus Crazy Golf. Apparently you have to book this with reception on this side if you want to use that. And then we've got the two restaurants, Dolce Vita Italian and Koi, which is a sushi restaurant. Out here as well, you've got lots of different areas which can be used. This one is the most used and utilised on this side, which is the area here, which they use for Zumba, the kids, disco on an evening. They also use it for things like spin classes, things like that. Over the other side, we're going to take a look there. As you can see, there's a lot of emphasis on it being an active resort. So if you've got either kids or you have you'd like to keep fit, then this is definitely the resort for you. Now over the other side of the road, I find that a lot more relaxed. There is also over there the Royal Level, so if you're staying in the Royal Level, then you will be over the road. There's not a Royal Level area here. So this is, I presume, the gym. I've not been in myself. Got reception there. Just see there all the different classes that are taking place out in the front, and we've also got a gym there. So if you must keep fit while you're on your holidays, it's ideal. Now this next door here is Champs Sports Bar. Again, if you want to watch any sport, that should be televised on in there. Got this little area here, food vendor type of thing. These little domes which you can hide from the Lanzarote breeze, and it has been very, very breezy this week. I hadn't noticed that there. We have a scuba centre. Just excellent if you want to go scuba diving here. And then this brings us up to the Active Resort reception itself. So when we arrived, we had to check in over the road at the main reception there, where we received a nice glass of either cava or fresh orange or nice chilled water, which was a nice touch. And then we had to come over to this side to reception here. Now they're constantly updating this building. As you can see, they are currently replacing the tiles. Of course, they've been out of action because of the weekend, otherwise that job would have been finished. So we've got reception over there. And you see we've got lots of different areas here. So this is the Barcelo Experiences Lounge. If you want to book trips and things like that here, you can do that. You also book through Jet2 Holidays, which is who we've travelled with. And then on the other side, we've got another area. So what tends to happen is a lot of the time, we've got a lot of clubs, sports clubs, things like that. And they use those areas, sort of breakout areas, to discuss their tactics and their training. Got another little guy doing the floor here. Now this is where evening entertainment happens. Now we've been here for 10 days and we've seen about 4 or 5 different acts, and they've always been of a real high standard. I'll put some clips on now, but yeah, really good entertainment. And this is your bar on an evening. It does get quite busy, and yeah, there are about 4 or 5 bar staff that work pretty hard to get you your drinks. We're staying here all inclusive. You get this wristband here to use. Now that actually gets you in and out of your room, as well as service at the bar. The hotel, I did say, was a little bit older than its first appears, certainly than the room's first appear, and there are a few issues. We have got a little bit of a leak there, and hopefully that will be resolved before the start of the main high season. So up the stairs here, this is where you would go to the restaurant. So this is the restaurant area. Now, when we previously stayed here about 8 years ago, this was a bar. So they have changed things around a bit during that refurbishment. So I'm not going to film people while they're eating their food. However, the food has been of a really good standard, and as I say, it is 4-star rated, and I'll put some photos on of the food that we've had here. It has been pretty good, and we've thoroughly enjoyed staying here. Now, I'll go out and show you some of the other areas of the hotel. So this is the pool bar area. So you come here for drinks and snacks when the restaurants are closed. Obviously, if you are all inclusive, you just help yourself to beer, water, soft drinks. There's also a coffee machine, toasty maker, and ice cream there. And the bar also is manned by staff. So some things like Coca-Cola there, with a beer. These fridge units have sandwiches, things like that, cheesecake, other bits and pieces, salads, that type of thing. And of course, you've got some slushies, some adult slushies, and you've also got a coffee machine there if you want a decent coffee made by a member of staff. So this is the main pool on this side of the hotel. Now, everything's cleaned down every morning. Staff do such a fantastic job of keeping it nice and clean. There's another pool here, which you can just about see there. I will put some footage of it later on. I've got the safety ropes in place because it's quite wet and slippery. But yeah, there's a little splash pool there for the kids. And the slightly older kids who come over this side, there is kind of slides and things like that. Got a sun terrace here. And when the wind's not up, that is a great place to sit and sunbathe. Barcelo Splash Park. So you imagine when all the water's going there, there's plenty of places for adults to sit and watch the kids whilst they have fun in the splash park. You've got a little water cannon thing there, and that bucket fills up and the water cascades down the slide. So yeah, kids can have a great time having fun with the water. So another benefit of the Active Club, if you're so inclined, is this Olympic-sized swimming pool, which I believe you can use as a paying guest. You pay so much to use it. Of course, it is very busy with teams coming to train here. We'll find there's a lot of different teams come and practice here. We've had over the last 10 days triathlon teams, things like that here, because of course there are cycling opportunities here as well. But yeah, if you want to swim in this, I think it's so many euros, I think about €3 or €4 or something to come and use this pool. And yeah, an impressive facility. And then we've got another outdoor part of the gym there, so you can be out in the open air. I have to say the grounds are particularly well looked after. A lot of these areas you have shower areas as well if you've been sunbathing and you just want to refresh. I know Lanzarote has had a lot of rain this year, but the grounds are really looking lush and nicely looked after, which is very nice to wander around. So there are many steps around, however, there is a lot of disabled access if you're worried about that. So this would take you back to the reception area downstairs. There are plenty of maps as well, so you can find where you're wanting to go to. Now we'll head up back over some terrace here. As I said, we're initially disappointed to be on this side of the road, but depending on if you have kids or if you're inclined to like to do a lot of sport, this is definitely the side you want to be on. So we've come down here. So So this is the kids' splash pool on this side. Nice little shallow pool, and again, plenty of area for adults to sit and watch the kids splash about in this little pool. Nice and safe. So over there we've got some table tennis tables, and just above that, one of those rooms, that's where we're staying. So we'll head back down this ramp here, back to reception, and I'll show you what it's like behind reception area. So that's reception that way. We'll head out this way. Now this is where things have changed since we were last here. You see, we've got this fantastic water feature, and all this ground floor area was the restaurant. So all of this here, which has now been used for other things, we have over there and through those doors a lot of the games machines, things like that for the kids. So that was a bar seat area. I'll put on screen now. They had inflatables down here as well for the kids, which I presume is what is under these covers. So yeah, we can't quite understand why they wanted to move the restaurant. It did work really well down here, and it was a huge restaurant, whereas upstairs it feels a little bit more compact. And yeah, whatever the logic was, I'm sure they had good reason. So we'll just quickly head along this way and up the stairs. There is a lift just there in the centre of the screen there. If you wanted to get the lift, it's going up one flight. So you can see this is definitely older looking by comparison with the rest of the building. Certainly the reception area, a lot of other areas have had a lot of refurbishment. I mean, it's not bad, it's freshly painted, that type of thing, but yeah, a little bit older. I think that's a common thing with a lot of hotels in the Canaries in Spain. They spend a lot of money and effort on the reception area, and then the bit you actually stay in tends to not see as much modernisation. I've got a little bit of crumbling concrete there, which is a bit worrying. But again, you're out here under this front terrace, which you've got a sea view. And looking over at the other part of the hotel. Now, to be honest, if you want a nice relaxing stay, I do think this side of the hotel is where you want to be aiming for. We find it really chilled over there. The restaurant, the La Olivia restaurant, is really nice. It always seems quiet, although Rock and Ruby Travels did say that there were massive queues to get in. When we stayed there 4 or 5 years ago, we found that was only when the restaurant opened. So for example, if breakfast started at 7, yes, you get a queue at 7. If you rolled in at 7:30, wouldn't be a problem. So as ever, you can only report on what you find, can't you? So yeah, we'll head off now, and I'll go and show you our room when we first arrived here. So hi folks, let's go and take a tour of our room. So literally just arrived, and I thought this was probably the best opportunity to give you a good look at the room while it's nice, clean and unlived in. So let's take a look at Barceló Active Club room. Now, we did stay here a few years ago. We stayed here many years ago when this was, I think it was the Barceló Occidental Mar. Now it closed a few years ago and was completely refurbished. We stayed in the other building on the other side of the road last time. We had a fantastic sea view. That was for my 50th birthday, I believe, and we had a fantastic time. So we were keen to come back, and this time we've been put in the other building on the other side of the road, which is great if you're doing a lot of sports, because there's much more in the way of sports facilities on this side of the road. So anyway, I digress. Let's go and have a look at the room. So first of all, we've got our beds there, which look very inviting indeed. A few images from Lanzarote. See Mrs. out and about with Andy's bag there. She's just popped out onto the balcony at the moment. And we've also got this rather nice two-seater to sit there. Little table, rug on the floor. Now, with a mirror there, little area you can work as a desk, or if you want to, just use that for making cups of tea, which certainly is something we'll be doing. We've also got a fridge here. We've got a free complimentary bottle of water in there. As you can see, despite this being fairly new, there are a few little bits which need a bit of work. We've also got a rather large TV, which is in front of the bed. Personally, I think I'd rather that be in front of the sofa. And then you've got this lovely full-length mirror here. So I don't need one that tall for me, but maybe you do. We've also got places to hang coats. Now I presume this is maybe storage here. Yep, we've got a wardrobe here. Open that. 3 coat hangers there. Plenty of shelves and things like that to put your t-shirts and shoes, things at the bottom. And I think there's also another wardrobe here. Again, plenty of coat hangers. There is a safe. I presume there's a charge to use that, often the way with most hotels. I don't know why they don't just put it in with the cost. It would make things a lot easier. And then I'll call it aircon unit, but it may not be air conditioned. It might just be a heater or cold air blower. We've got the thermostat there to change the temperature. So that's pretty much the main area. And we'll now go and look at the bathroom. So here we have bathroom. Hello again. You see, huge mirror, very nice modern sink. Comes with some bits and pieces there, toothbrushes and shaving kit as well. Some hand wash, body wash. Same can be found in the shower as well. Towels, plenty of towels. Hand towels over there, a hairdryer as well. We've also got a drencher shower, as well as a smaller shower head. Nice looking shower area. Do like the Lanzarote imagery in the shower. And then, yep, all bits and pieces. So I hang robes, that type of thing. Some cacti. and the loo, which I'm sure will be fine and very clean. And it's spotless, as you'd expect. So yeah, overall, creates a really good impression. Nice room to stay in for the next 10 days we're here. I do hope we can bring you lots of other places to visit, things to see, not only in the resort we're staying in, which is Costa Teguise, but a little bit further away. Just come out onto the balcony where Mrs. Out Dandy is having a nice relaxing sit. She didn't want to be on camera. And you see that building is the one we stayed in the other year, I think about 3 or 4 years ago now. And then we've got this terrace here, there's showers below there if you're using the pool or you get a bit warm, and then the pool is over on that side. Yeah, so basically this is our little balcony. Plenty of area to sit and catch the sun. Also somewhere to go and dry your clothes as well. So overall, I think we're pretty happy with the room we've been allocated. So folks, what do we actually think of the Barceló Active Resort? Well, we've had a fantastic stay here. The food has been really good. Now, if you remember back to the channel, I did do a video on the Barceló Handia Mar. I'd say the food is the highest standard here. Definitely much better, more variety, and better quality ingredients than that hotel. That was all right. This one is definitely a bit higher. I think that hotel was 4-star. It's now been graded about 3.5, and I think that's pretty correct by comparison to these hotels here. So we've eaten across the road in the La Olivier restaurant as well as the one I showed you earlier, and the food has been pretty good in both restaurants. Now, if you've watched Rock and Ruby Travels stay at the Royal Levels Resort over the road, you'll know that they weren't 100% convinced about what they paid for it. Now, our holiday, we've been here for 10 days. We're staying all-inclusive compared to their, I think it was half board they paid. I would say that we probably got a better deal. I mean, we came in at around £2,500 via Jet2 for the two of us. That was 10 days and all-inclusive. So all your drinks and all the food covered. I'd say the difference, looking at their video, between the Royal Level rooms and the room we've got is minimal. Yes, you have a second room in your apartment over there on the Royal Levels. All of ours is in a single room, but it is a bigger room compared to their lounge area. And so again, I think we probably have chosen the better option. If you come for 7 days, just choose a standard room, unless you really need that privacy of space away from the kids. So again, yeah, we've enjoyed our stay here, and would happily recommend, if you're looking for an all-inclusive holiday, that you consider this, especially if you have kids or you yourself are of a sporty nature. There's definitely plenty of options of things to do, from cycling to go to the gym, swimming, and other active classes available during the day. So as ever, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.